You're running a shop floor, not a Pinterest interest board or a fantasy football league. You don't need inspiration, you need things to work. So welcome to Build Your Way, a podcast from Cetec ERP. This is a show for manufacturers who are in it every day, from quoting and shipping jobs to troubleshooting quality and material shortages, all while staying a step ahead of what's next. We bring you stories from the field, lessons that stick, and strategies that actually scale to help you build better. Let's get to work.
Welcome back to the Build Your Way podcast. This is actually part 2 of our interview with Kelly Bell from M3 Technologies. Our interview ran a little bit long, but it was too good to cut, so we split it into 2 halves. The second half, we dive into customer relationships, taking care of employees, and build upon where we left off on the first half. If you haven't listened to the first part of that interview, recommend that you start there and then join us and jump back in right here.
Okay, so you have a very tight relationship with your customers, similar, I think, to us. Like, it's not easy to acquire. How aggressive are you in acquiring new customers, and what is your sales and marketing? What does that look like?
So we are probably not as aggressive as you would think, because we are constantly looking at our capacity constraints. And so as our capacity constraints rear their ugly heads sometimes, we pull back. And we are fortunate at the moment that so many of our customers are just in a growth. And I do think it is a different, just listening around the country versus here in Texas. I think there is something about Texas right now that has a better economy and the growth of these Texas companies at the moment. And so we do have, since we are mostly Texas-based, we are international. We do have international companies in Hungary and Malaysia and other places, but they are, they're really pushing our capacity at the moment. So we aren't necessarily searching for customers. We get a lot of customers from word of mouth, and we do have sales out there, but they're really keeping the ones that we have at the moment. And they have to be the right fit for us. Like we've met with customers, and it's not necessarily the right fit. We're not the right fit for just somebody who's just going to price gouge us. Like we're trying to do something here with our customers and trying to have a partnership with them, and that's very important to us. So it definitely has to be the right fit. So we've done all of the constant contact emails, and we've tried the Google ads and things like that when things were slower. I do think one of your other customers mentioned that you really need to hire out those Google ad things, and I think that's probably the case. If we get to that point again, we would go there. I do think some of that works, but we're not in a position to worry.
You're not wanting it right now.
We're not in a position to worry about it right now. Yeah.
Do you run multiple shifts?
We do not.
You do not, and you don't want to.
Well,
I presume.
I'm not against, we do run overtime shifts. So we run a flexible shift. Let's put it that way. It's not multiple shifts. We start at 6 a.m. We end at 6 p.m. So we do run a 10-hour shift. And we do run Saturdays on occasion as needed. And lately it's been needed. So, but the type of employee we have, I've always tried, it is a work-life balance. These are people that have families that want, I have a lot of moms, even though they're now not moms of young kids, but they're still mothers of a family that goes home and makes a home for their family. And so I really want to help them if the overtime is good for them.
Yeah.
I never want to force something that forces them to not be able to have that, because that's what ultimately I want. I'm raising my children, and that's the most important thing in the world to me. So I try to make sure that that's available to my employees at the same time, if that makes any sense.
A theme that Scott and I have that we've not really talked about on the podcast in any way, that is in the things that we wanted to talk about on a normal basis, is the idea that capitalism is sometimes defined as the ability to charge, what the market can bear. You could also maybe think about it as the freedom to charge what you would like. in that sense of like, you could push harder, you could demand more from your people, you could, extract more value. But that's not necessarily the goal. It does not have to be the goal. It doesn't have to be treated as a zero sum. And like the classic example is, if you're a mechanic, and you have Al's car shop, or whatever it is, Al's auto shop, good. Then you can charge as much as you want, right? And you could say like, well, man, I can get $1,800. This lady, she's got to take her kids to school. She's got to go work that overtime. This is my chance. This is what the market will bear. Or you could also be Al and say, oh, I've got a single mom here who's struggling, who's working overtime, who's doing all these things, and I can take some of this on the nose and like take care of this person. And you could justify all that as like, well, it's really a long-term play, you're doing, but you could also just take it at face value and say Al is just being a decent guy, and he's charging what he wants to charge, take care of somebody.
Well, and I think for my business model, I have to have my employee buy-in. So like my business model ends up being that I'm going to walk back there and say, I need you to stop what you're doing. And now I need you to do this because this is what the customer needs today. And that happens more often than you think. So I don't need my employees being like, well, now I hate that customer, right? I don't like that customer anymore. So I think I need their buy-in, and I need their buy-in as like, I value them. I value every one of my employees. I have some of the most amazing employees that have been with me. We did our 20-year anniversary last year, and it was amazing to see how long people have been with me. And, from the beginning.
Yeah, that's cool.
And even before the beginning, like let's say they came from the other company back with me. And then even just people that I was floored, like, you've been with me 15 years. Like how, it's just gone by so fast. And
you sound like a mom right now.
Well, it's true. They
grow up so fast.
But if I didn't have that, if I didn't have their buy-in and them being willing to shift when I need them to shift, then you just have disgruntled employees that move down the road. I mean, there's so many other places they could be than mine. It's not like I'm, the only manufacturing company, and their skilled labor. Let's be honest, they have a skill. So yeah.
What are some of the other, like, beyond just, managing shifts and labor, but what are your other opportunities for operational efficiency improvements? Like, how are you navigating different constraints, capacity constraints?
It's funny, when we were coming up, I think I might have mentioned this to you, at the ERP-alooza. Is that how you say it? ERP-alooza. I'm so sorry. So, yeah, on the drive up, Terrence, my manufacturing manager and I had a lot of discussion about, we have to figure out how to do more with less, right?
Your manufacturing manager.
Yeah. And so
Sorry, Terrence, for not putting all that together.
Oh, yeah. So we had to figure out how, not just on the manufacturing floor, but internally, either from shipping and receiving, order entry, all of it. So we've reached out for a couple of things to, how do we make it easier for our employees to do their job? And so, we just got that Metabase, which is so important to me, because these are reports I'm running every week and creating myself. And now all I have to do is go reload. And then I look at it and I'm like, it's right there. And it's all.
So did you create a bunch of reports in Metabase?
Oh, yeah.
Metabase is a BI tool, like Power BI or Metabase, or,
Noah couldn't give it to me fast enough. Like, at the moment he gave it to me, I was creating reports. Like, it was like, yeah.
Noah's good for that.
Yeah. Good job, Noah.
That was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. By the weekend, I was already, yeah. I was, because, well, I knew, it was funny too. This is for all of you who will go to there wasn't another option that time period that I was like, oh, I need to go to that one. So I told Terrence, I was like, I'm going to go to the Metabase one. I have to pay for it, and I'm not going to buy it. I've already seen it. And, but I'm just going to go to that one because I don't have anything else. I'll just work while I'm there. And next thing you know, I'm like, Terrence, you need to come out of the one you're in, and I need you to come here now because I am going to buy this and we are going to do this. And the same with the quality reports. Like, he does all the quality reports, and same thing. It was like, he's doing all the on-time delivery the way we want the on-time delivery calculated, right? Because, and the way we want all the other quality reports. Like, I need all of these RMAs or these, manufacturing, all the vendor reports, all the stuff that you need for ISO. And he has to do those every quarter manually. And so it's things like that it's just, they're right there. And so how do we do more with less? How do I get more out of the amount of hours that I have?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing we're focused on right now. If that means manufacturing equipment, or if that means a program to help Paulette put her orders in faster, if I could get her to send you the proper forms. But same thing, like, how do I allow her more time and not, and still get the quality of Paulette touching everything? I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah, she's got to be able to see it.
She's got to be able to see it. She has to know everything that's going on. That's what makes you a good salesperson, is that you know everything about your customer. So it can't be stuff that's just going on in the background and she doesn't know, right? But so those are just things that, I guess, does that answer your question?
Hey, yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot about that type of like overhead costs that you're talking about as friction. And like it literally, it's from an operations standpoint, it's just friction cost, right? It makes everything slower and requires more effort, and it's more difficult, and it's consuming resources and power, if we're using like a physics analogy, to do everything. And where you can find those points of friction that you can remove, the benefits are outsized. And I think by personality, you have all these different types of people. There are some people who are like, oh, I just, like in the name of, I just hate friction. Like, I refuse to do any of that. And it's like, well, is that, you're trying to tell me you just hate process and you refuse to play in a system that requires something from everybody? Like, well, I don't want to touch the computer. I just want to get stuff done. It's like, that's great, but somebody has to go and like buy more of the parts that you keep taking out of, this thing. Like, you're not helping, you're actually making friction. But that idea of like where you can find the thing and it's like, this is just going to make everybody float a little higher. It's fantastic. And that, especially on the operations side, I think is where all the value is.
Well, and I think explaining to the employees, like, help me help you, is like clocking in and out of jobs. That's a constant battle, right? Clocking in and out of jobs. And it comes down to the point of having a discussion with my employees, like, how do I know that I'm not pushing you to do this faster than you should be doing it if you're not clocking in and out, and I don't know how long it's taking you, right?
Cost
It took
capture.
years to get, but it's seamless, and they're doing it, and it's...
Do they scan badges, or are they actually clicking?
So they do have scanners at their desks. They scan the order numbers, but then they're start work.
And they're start.
We don't do the kiosk because everyone has a computer at their desk because they have to look at spec sheets. And so everyone has access to that. So it's that. Yeah.
You said it took years to get to the click start work?
It took years to have them consistently clocking in and out, right?
Yeah.
Of walking around and going, I'm not seeing you on the view work. I know you're working. You're here. Oh, I forgot, let me get in there and do it. So it's just a matter of.
Is that is like that's a thing that I run into frequently on site, is I'm sitting with a purchasing person or a program manager, and we're trying to like get them to tell us what they do on a day-to-day basis. And then how do we do this with less friction?
Mm-hmm.
And they're so caught up on the front end of like, well, you've added clicks here, but if we can get you to structure data, we can now load a report from our customer and auto update all of these PO ship dates, due dates, and that flushes through everything. And so it's like, how do you navigate that? That mental hurdle is difficult, right? Like I think people experience that with AI, is like, you just don't know what's possible yet. And so people are either just throwing stuff like, I want AI, or like they're against it because they don't really see, it's like, how do you find the value in those, or how you get people past that?
I think I think it comes with trust over time. Like, I think, they always say, if you're going to do an ERP conversion, you have to have management buy-in. If you do an ERP conversion without management buy-in, you're dead. Like, there's no reason to do it. So the management has to come from top down, and then you have to have trust. And I remember we didn't do the ERP conversion until towards the end because of some of the employees who had been on legacy Cetec for so long, and they weren't people you want to make mad. Let's be honest. Like, I'm not here to make them mad. But to this day, they'll still come to me and say, thank you. There are things that I can do that I could never have done in the old system and things like that. Like, they are aware. And they're bringing stuff like, now I need this.
Which is great.
Which is amazing. Like, I need you to make this happen. Like, something simple. Like, why is my customer part number not on the open order report? Well, let's figure out how to do that, right? And that's my whole job, is to remove obstacles, right? So to do your job. But the scanning thing, you guys brought up that in one of your programs too. Like, being able to, like, there's somebody who spends 2 hours a day scanning.
Are they really?
Yes, because we scan everything.
Receiving documents, right?
Receiving documents, right? Because we don't just scan receiving documents, but I mean, we probably get in trouble for the amount of documents, but we have everything in our system. And from the beginning, like, it's all there, because even if we weren't on ERP, we were on OTD. So we had all the manufacturing part of it on the system. And, but it's just stuff like that. Like, we have to take that away. Like, that has to be done by the system from now on. And, but those are things that until I came, we didn't know you were on the cusp of doing that stuff. That stuff's important to see what you guys can do.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. And just context for my ERPalooza is the like thing where we demonstrate new features and talk about current
User conference. Our annual user conference.
So this is great. The like, all these tools are now.
Well, and it goes back to what you were talking about with the cookbook.
Yeah.
Is that you're in there with a bunch of people who don't necessarily do what you do. But all of a sudden you're hearing how they do something and you're like, okay, wait, maybe I could use that. And as long as I've been on Cetec, I still walked away with, I didn't know that report did that. Right? I mean, still. And I was like, now we have this report. It actually will do this. And,
There's like, that's true for
every.
Like, at this point, I think we're quite confident to say that none of us know everything about all the areas.
No, sometimes I get lucky when I'm on site. Like, maybe Monday this week, I was in Phoenix, and we open up a report, and there's like new columns that I've never seen, and this is actually exactly what I needed. This is amazing. Well, look, it's just right there. Look how easy it is.
Like, it's always been there.
It's hard to keep up.
That's great. Yeah. So pizza party is not enough. That's my takeaway there. Pizza party is not enough.
With the employees?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The change management and the like, how do we get you to...
It might depend on how good the pizza is, though.
Yeah. No, the pizza parties are still important. I say Chipotle parties instead, but yes.
It's just a soupy taco.
No, not when you do the whole buffet. Like, they can make their own bowl.
Yeah.
A Chipotle bowl party. He's got an issue with Chipotle.
He does not like Chipotle.
I don't...
Sad to me.
Like, well, let me clarify.
I think it's the fresh ingredients and the ability to
make it your own way.
Sit under a heat lamp for 8 hours a day.
Have you seen how quickly they rotate?
Everything half the time I'm there. So.
They're super fresh without E. coli breakout.
Have you seen how quick they rotate?
That's funny.
It's not Chipotle. It's that I think that there are, where we live in Austin, so many better options than just Chipotle. So
true.
I am okay with Chipotle when I'm in Tomball.
Do you think Tomball doesn't have better options?
I think he was just attacking Tomball. He was attacking the culture.
Sorry, Tomball.
I think you and Brooke need to come back to Tomball because you would be amazed at the sidewalks.
I will put it on our anniversary trip option list. We could
Airbnb, one of the little places right in town. There you go. It is a destination city now.
We have an employee, Tanner Rogers, was a Chipotle worker.
Really?
And I think this may be just part of the competitive delta between Scott and Tanner here as well.
I don't know. I just kind of objectively think that, like...
So are you against all, like Kava, like all of those types of places?
Fast casual?
Fast casual. I like fast casual because it's easy.
No. it's easy. It is consistent. Like I know what I'm going to get at Chipotle. So it is like I'm in some like small, town 30 minutes outside of Akron. There's a Chipotle. That's wonderful.
And you'll probably get crunchy rice at that place.
It's okay.
True. Like spend under the heat lamp all day.
Yeah, there's still,
Austin is well known for its tacos. So I would say that there are hole-in-the-wall taco places that are way better than Chipotle. So you're right.
That's what I had for lunch today. Actually, hole in the wall. Well, hole in the truck.
Which are some of the best tacos you can get. I know. I agree.
Okay. Last question.
Last question already.
What differentiates small manufacturers who grow from those who don't?
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that I'm an expert on that.
Well, you already told us you don't want to grow. So.
No, it's not that I don't want to grow.
I heard. We don't care about.
No, that is not at all what I said.
Under a heat lamp all day, it's like.
I do not like to grow that is unsustainable, right?
I know we're very about sustainability is very important.
So I am definitely,
Especially in Austin.
Growth. Yeah. Oh man, the traffic here. Thoughtful growth. I don't know if that's the right, but yes. I don't know. I think some people are in it to grow, and that's what they're in it for. So they will grow at all costs, and I'm not in it for that. And I want to be able to continue to give my employees that small business feel at the moment. I might eventually be in it for that. I might turn the corner.
What if we flip this to the condemning side, though? So not your business.
Okay.
But when you see the businesses that are like just not quite going anywhere. You see it like, let's just say there's a manufacturing shop that's like maybe a machine shop in the Tomball area. And
I say they don't have their employee buy-in, and they don't have a vision of who they are. Like they don't necessarily want to be quality product, or they want to be customer centric, or they want to be operationally excellent. Like which one are you going to be? You can try to be all three, but you really can't be all three. So let's see which one are you going to be. And they just don't have a vision for that. Their whole vision is to just make money. So I would say places like that are not necessarily they'll turn over their customers and just go to the next customer and just go to the next customer.
And so then they think they have a sales problem.
Yeah, and they're just not. They have a retention problem, right? So it can be employee retention, it can be customer retention. We have both are pretty, like we've had customers for 21 years, and that is really, like, I'm proud of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we have employees for 21 years, so I'm proud of that. So those are things that I want. I don't have to go down as the biggest manufacturing. I'd rather go down as that people love to work for me, and people loved me as a company. Like they wanted to do business with me. So on the vendor side too, like they wanted to work with us.
Always. I was thinking about when I mentioned the small machine shop in Tomball that was struggling. I was thinking about when your dad picked up a small machine shop in Tomball.
Yeah,
and that's how you guys got into box builds and machining, right? And I guess maybe.
And we decided that was not the business we wanted to be in anymore. Yeah, we did. And it was an issue of, in that respect, an issue of employee buy-in.
Okay, so I was going to ask, like, what's the postmortem on why did they fail when you guys ended up actually acquiring?
So machining is a whole different world.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
That's right. And a whole different world of how they go to market and who their customers are. And it's a little bit more cutthroat than, I would say. They're not partnerships. You're not having these partnership abilities. And we were very quality. The quality was amazing. The pricing was okay. Competition in the machining world is really odd. And then the employees were just, they're looking for the next paycheck. They're looking for I mean, some people, we had an AC'd machine shop, and you got people that are like, well, I'm just going to go weld outdoor, because right now that part of that business right now is booming and I can make a lot of money. And it's like, you're in the heat all day and
It's notoriously boom and bust. Yeah.
and you don't have the customer buy-in partnerships but again, we kept a majority of that business. Oddly, we get it machined out and we build it for them. So there was a big portion of that business that we were able to keep and get rid of all of the other headache of it. And it's very odd how that happened. And so we were happy to do that. We let it limp along for a while, and we were just like, this really isn't us. It's not our, yeah.
I was thinking like of a number of machine shops that we have worked with, especially on like metal processing. And one of the things that I have seen as a big differentiator between their success and failure, there's a lot of labor problems. There can be, in some cases, culture problems. But when all of those things are fixed, I've seen a lot of cost capture problems, that they're often very unaware of where their costs are. And the delta between the ones that are successful on that kind of job processing world versus the ones that are barely making it or struggling, and they're looking at their P&L and trying to like, well, our expenses are up a little bit, but we're selling more. What's happening? And like they're looking at everything way too far after the fact. They can't identify where the problems are. And the little things about capturing costs, like logging time, tracking your material.
And setups are huge in machining. Like it's
all of that. They're killers.
And then we had a decent, hold on all of that, but that doesn't mean the customer wants to pay for that, because they have the guy down the road that doesn't have a hold on that, and that customer, they're not going to pay for that. So I think that's where we finally were like, our worth, and I think this is one of we know our worth as far as a company. I know my employees' worth, and I know what we can do for our customers, and we want to make sure that we're capturing that. And I felt like that we were never going to be successful there. So sometimes you just have to say, that's okay. That's not our place, and move back to what our core competencies were and the part that we're good at. And it's given us new focus, and it's been able to
have a little breakup conversation.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes so when your management focus is so distracted in something that is like dying, that's not where you need to be. So luckily we made that shift.
Well, Kelly, thank you.
Thank you guys. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you want to add?
No.
Great. All right. Well, until our next episode here at the Build Your Way podcast. Thanks for joining us, and you can subscribe. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on pretty much any social media platform, YouTube, the usuals.
If you have a mug, I'll drink coffee from it.
It's a good bet.
Shameless plug for a mug.
For a mug.